Hello friends and welcome back to my channel, Ever Evolving Emily, where we discuss the ability to change, evolve, and manifest. I'm going to dive right in. I'm going to talk a lot about self-concept tonight. A lot about self-concept. We're coming onto the new year. A lot of you have new dreams, new goals, new intentions, how you want to live your life. Maybe you want a different job. Maybe you want, it doesn't matter. Like, I have no doubt that there is something on your heart, a desire on your heart that you want to bring into your life. So, when we're talking about manifesting, a lot of times people think like it's this thing that is outside of us. How do we get it? Can we affirm all day? Can we do robotic affirming? I believe that it's so much more than that. It is so much more than, and also, I'm going to say this to you, which no one else is going to say to you. You will figure out what works for you and you stick to that. It's just like a diet where, like, you could have like 100 people tell you what to do. You could have a trainer, you could have a nutritionist, you could have a doctor, you could have like so many people really tell you what to do. But at the end of the day, you need to decide what is right for you, whether that is scripting, affirming, scripture, prayer. Like, you need to decide for yourself and cut the bullshit. Just cut the bullshit. So, like, because there's so much out there. I think there's an amazing amount of content out there right now, especially when it comes to manifesting. But you have to decide for yourself. Like, what works for you? What doesn't work for you? Like, what do you enjoy? Maybe it's scripture, maybe it is scripting, maybe it is vision boards, whatever. And then some people are going to tell you not to do it. They're going to be like, don't do that. Don't robotic affirm. Doesn't do anything. That's not true. So look, you decide for yourself. It's just like anything else where you're kind of like sifting through things and you're figuring out what works for you. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Once you find something that you feel so good at, like naturally good at, like I script all the time, I journal all the time, I write all the time. And I'm going to talk about what my journal entries are like now versus what they were like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. My journal entries are completely different than what I used to write and how I used to write. So you decide for yourself. Everybody's different. And so some people are like, should I affirm? Should I not affirm? Should I robotic affirm? Should I not robotic affirm? Look, like, do I need to feel it? Do I not need to feel it? I get it. It can be really overwhelming. But at the end of the day, you decide what works for you. You stick with what works for you. You know what works for you. So why are you going to let somebody else tell you, hey, don't do that? Why, if it's been working, if it feels good to you, if it gets you out of lack mindset, if it gets you from like knowing your self-concept and stepping into the person you're going to be, and like really repetition dissolves disbelief. So like if you're repeating something 100 times and it finally like kind of like helps you break through any limiting beliefs, self-sabotage, self-doubt, who cares? Do that. And don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. Anyway, my point is like throughout this process, you choose. You choose for yourself. Like, take in the information and leave the rest. Figure out what works for you, leave the rest. Find teachers who are like, I have come across so many amazing, amazing teachers all on YouTube. People who have literally helped me to change my life and helped me to like really step into the person that I wanted to be. So that being said, I'm going to talk about like my first steps towards self-concept and like how I flip the script. If you've watched any of my content, you know that I do have a yoga background and that I have my 200-hour yoga teaching certificate. I'm not currently teaching in class. I do consider this kind of like teaching off the mat. But in 2012, that's when I like wrote down in 2012 kind of everything that was happening up here. And it wasn't pretty. And that's okay. It wasn't. It was a lot of a lot of negative self-talk, a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of like unworthiness, and then and a lot of that stemmed from my childhood. It stemmed from like growing up, just who I was. I was a tomboy. I didn't want to be noticed. I just wanted to hide most of the time. I had very little confidence. I was an artist, and then I was a musician, so I was kind of like this like nerdy yet beautiful person. And I had this desire, all these, I wanted to be so much more than I was, and I didn't know how to step into that person. So anyway, we're gonna fast forward. Maybe I'll address that in another video because I've got some pictures that I think are pretty great where I look at my younger self, especially in my teen years, and I was like, I see what you're trying to do, and what you were doing. I was like in love with Eddie Vedder, you know. Who wasn't? So I was just this like alternative artist, nobody look at me. I don't want anybody to see me, that's and tomboy, kind of. Anyway, how did I get good with myself? And some of the first steps that I really took. So yoga 2012, understanding my entire mental dialogue, what was happening up here, flipping the script. So I started doing all that work. And then years passed, and I was pursuing acting. I was in Los Angeles. So my biggest questions were why, why, why? Why do I experience these hot and cold patterns? And then finally, I realized it wasn't just like hot and cold with relationships, men. It wasn't just hot and cold with relationships. It was hot and cold with money. It was hot and cold with everything in my life, everything I would experience in my life. I felt like, whether that was like fitness goals, just everything, fitness goals, money, love. I felt, and I finally realized, oh my gosh, like everything is hot and cold in my life. Everything is, 1 second I have money, the next second I don't. 1 second my weight's like exactly where I need to be, the next second it's not. I'm in this relationship with the love of my life. Oh, it totally fell apart. I mean, so if you are brave enough, if you can actually look at yourself and say, what is happening here? I believe I've been divinely guided the last few years because I had this desire on my heart that was so deep. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I really want to know. And how do I move on from this? Can I move on from this? Why do my emotions just run me over all the time? I mean, I used to get in my car, it didn't matter what job I was leaving. I would get in my car after work and my emotions would just like be so overwhelming, and I would feel like I was constantly being like run over. It was wild. So that being said, if you're experiencing that where like maybe you work a customer service job and you get in your car and you just like start crying after work, I get it. Or maybe you are in a job where like there's so much demand for you emotionally, from you emotionally, or I literally used to get in my car and like cry because what I realized is like I gave so much power away. No matter what I was doing, I was just constantly giving power away, which left me completely depleted. I used to think that people were like stealing my energy. I don't think that's the case anymore. I kind of think that I was giving all my energy, all my power away, but I am an empath, so I feel a lot. Anyway, the point to this particular video is self-concept, and make no mistake, everything is self-concept, everything. It is what you believe about yourself to be true. What do you assume about yourself? It is everything that you believe about yourself. So a few years ago, and I've talked about this in other videos, I came across Flora, I love you, Flora Sivos. I'm sorry if I'm not saying her name completely correct. Flora, who I would see on Pinterest, I would see her on Instagram, TikTok, like I would see her everywhere. I freaking love Flora. So I finally decided, I think I had purchased a couple of her like early on manifesting courses and PDFs, and then I dove into the Self Concept Mastery Academy. And when it was first rolled out, so this was like a long time ago because it's been around for a while now. And then I took a break and I just didn't really dive into it. I kind of like took from it what I wanted at the time. This past year, it was like in the fall. I could not get her voice out of my head. And then her content started to pop up for me. And me doing a lot of inner work already was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do this again. I'm going to do the Self Concept Mastery Academy again. I know I missed something. There's things that I want to learn again. And I literally couldn't get her beautiful voice out of my brain. So, that being said, I looked up the Self Concept Mastery Academy and I dove in. And I think that this program, this Mastery Academy, is so beautiful. And if you are really like, how do I do this? How do I do this self-concept work? What do I do? How do I do it? Is there a formula to it? Yes, there is. How do I take control of my brain? Like, really, that's what I really wanted to do. I remember watching, I think it was the Wizard Liz. I love her too. But I think she said something like, I just wish I could like take my brain out of my body for a while. I get it. It's very what we get in here. And and like in yoga, I think the best thing about yoga and meditation is it can bring you into a state of being versus thinking. Because when we're thinking so much, that's what's causing a lot of suffering. So, when we're talking about self concept, I was so frustrated and like I didn't quite understand that I was the operant power. I didn't understand what that really meant, that I was in charge of my own happiness, blaming outside circumstances, the 3D. Oh, the 3D. The 3D. Um, there was just so much I didn't understand. So I felt like my first step in the Self Concept Mastery Academy was amazing because I just kept noticing so many wonderful, beautiful changes for myself. I kept, so, basically, like, I feel like this program is really, really well organized. There's so many courses as far as like morning meditations or meditations throughout the day. I didn't even know what a rampage was back then. I was like, what's a rampage? I mean, I can like rampage myself all day. Like, that's like what? So, yes, meditation courses, rampages. There's so much amazing content in the academy. I know that I wanted my whole life to change. I just didn't know how. And believe it or not, I really prayed over this. I asked for this. I said, please, like, please guide me. Please show me. I'm ready to learn. I can't go through this anymore. Like, I literally said that prayer, and I've talked about that in other videos. I just felt completely, and it also, like, I have a very strong faith in God, and I understand now that, like, uh, source is within me. Source is within me. It is, I am the creator. And like, I understand co-creation. I understand reality creation. I understand that today is old news, and what's really happening is that's most important is what's happening up here, and that's the 4D, and that's what's going to show up maybe tomorrow or in the next couple of days. Delay is not denial, and what this is all old. And when you really, really understand that, you're like, oh, I don't have to react to everything. And I've talked about reaction versus response in other videos, like choosing to respond versus react. No more knee jerk reactions. It's like, okay, whatever. So, you know, I think something I really wanted to talk about in this video was how I got good with my name, Emily. How I got good with Emily. Like a year ago, about a year ago, I just felt defeated by like, not defeated. I didn't like my name. Why not? Emily is such a beautiful name. Yes, it is. It was who I was identifying as that Emily. That Emily was too nice, always apologizing, always over explaining, always giving too much, always saying she was sorry when she didn't do anything wrong, just for like existing. Oh, sorry, sorry, sorry. That Emily, I had this vision. And I like felt, Emily is this nice, beautiful person who's just like churning butter on the prairie. I mean, what is that? I don't know where it came from. I mean, I kind of do. I visited out west before. But I just felt like the way I was associating my identity with my name was doormat, pushover, not strong within herself, didn't always have confidence, or sometimes I would and sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes I have money, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm like feeling like this badass rock star, and then the next day I'm like falling down. I decided no more. And how did I actually get good with my name? I chose to shift who I was being as a person. I stopped apologizing. I started to learn how to put up boundaries. I started to learn how to stand strong within myself. I did a ton and continue to do a fuck ton of mirror work where I look at myself in the mirror and I tell myself, I love you. You are chosen, loved, wanted, and adored. You are loving. You are worthy and deserving of the life that you are creating. I am perfection. I am always chosen. I'm always loved. I'm already loved. I'm already chosen. I'm already loved and wanted and adored because I love myself, because I choose myself today, because I choose myself, everybody else chooses me. Because I continue to love myself, I continue to choose myself, I continue to put myself first, not in a selfish way. I continue to put myself first. And so as I continue to put myself first, everything started to shift because the entire world, your entire reality is 100% completely a mirror image of who you are and who you are being. Make no mistake. That is the truth. And that might seem harsh. That might seem like, what about this? What about this? What about, I get it. When the 3D slaps you in the face, I get it. I'm going to talk about what to do when the 3D smacks you in the face. I'm going to talk about it because I've experienced it so many times now. But the most important thing that I really want to give in this particular video is like, I build and continue to build my self-concept every single day. Every day. From the time I wake up, I literally took control of my mental diet. From the time I wake up, I will say things like, good morning, God, source, creator. I declare myself connected to source energy. I'm connected to source energy. And then lately I've been saying things like, Emily, I'm gonna link a video from I Am That I Am, that channel. That guy, king of self-concept. Excellent. I am Emily. I am all that is. I am love. I am perfection. I am already chosen. No one is better than me, and no one compares to me. So I'm going to link that video. And the way that creator, Eric, the way he talks about self-concept, in my opinion, is one of the best, most phenomenal ways I've heard any YouTuber talk about self-concept. When you step into the person that you want to be. And also, so something else that would happen to me is like sometimes I'd be affirming, like about a year ago, I remember walking around and like affirming, no, I am loved, I'm chosen, I'm adored. But I wouldn't give myself the reasons like why. And so I do think that's why my reality would be hot and cold with me, hot and cold with me. The 3D would be hot and cold with me. Oh, because I still have like my old self concept trying to butt its way in and creep on in. And I'm like, no, this is the new self concept. I'm loved, chosen, and adored. Don't tell me otherwise. I love myself completely. I'm whole and complete all on myself. Stop telling me, that I'm not, you know? So, like, I understand this, like, battle in the mind that happens. And when you can get your ego on board, and that's the video I'm going to link, when you can get your ego on board, I think to me that was like the biggest turning point Of course I'm chosen because I'm so amazing. Of course I'm chosen because my energy is magnetic and irresistible, unforgettable and irreplaceable. Of course, money flows to me easily and effortlessly because I am worthy and deserving of receiving it. I am worthy and deserving of receiving money. Money flows to me from expected and unexpected places. You know, a lot of this work, in my opinion, also has to do with law of assumption and living in the end, making a decision and living in the end, and not giving any energy to the middle, to the 3D. Stop giving it energy. Stop feeding it. You know, it's almost like, you experience something like negative and you just tell everybody about it. Well, that just makes it snowball. What if you don't tell anybody? What if when someone complains to you, you don't say anything? That's a fun one. I do that a lot, actually. So, like, when somebody complains to me, if I can, I won't say anything. And I get it. Like, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just I am choosing to not feed into that negative energy. I am choosing to just keep my space, hold on to my own energy. That's not mine. That is yours. It is hard when I have experienced like people hating on me, I have experienced it, and that is hard when someone like when you feel that. Oh, but my purpose for this video is I did want to talk about Self-Concept Mastery Academy because that really was my first real big steps into shifting my identity. So during that time, I was like, how am I going to get good with my name? How am I going to get good with my identity? How am I going to step into this person fearlessly? And I did a couple things. So I was like, I didn't technically have the money to do a Self-Concept Mastery Academy, but I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to do it. I'm going to sign up. And right now, I think it's $99 a month. It's worth every penny. I have never in my life ever regretted investing in myself, especially when it comes to this type of work. Never in my life do I regret doing homework and like discovering the truth of who I am. Whether that was yoga training, Self-Concept Mastery Academy courses, when I'm acting, investing in headshots, investing in self-care. Never in my life do I ever regret investing in myself. And when I did the Self-Concept Mastery Academy, I did a couple other things. I bought this little necklace because I was like, no, I'm gonna get good with Emily. Emily, I'm gonna get good with you. You're dope as fuck. I'm gonna get good with you. I did the morning meditations. I did the gratitude. I started to do all of the gratitude writing of just like today I'm grateful for, and then I would like create lists of what I was grateful for. And now in this list of what I'm grateful for, I include many things just about me. I'm grateful for myself. So when I'm focusing on like manifesting specific things into my life, material items, I do say I'm grateful for the money that's in my bank account. I'm grateful for the money that's on its way to me. I'm so grateful for the beautiful bed that I sleep in. I'm so grateful for the roof over my head. So grateful for the car that I drive to get to work. I'm so grateful for X, Y, and Z. I will always be grateful for, I feel like, yes, there's many things that I want, but like I'm already incredibly blessed. And when you feel that, things just flow so much easier to you. They just flow. So, but now I say things like, I'm so grateful for you. You have the most beautiful eyes. You have the most beautiful smile. Your body is so incredible. I feel so grateful that, it's like, I'll just like write lists of what I'm grateful for about myself and what I bring to the table, knowing my self-worth, knowing my value, what I am capable of. So the academy, in my opinion, was and is a phenomenal start if you're looking to really dive into like self-concept, an organized self-concept program, because the the program takes you through a formula for everything from love, money, health, and well-being. And in my opinion, it is like one of the best things you could do for yourself. Absolutely, hands down, because it literally taught me like mental diet in a very organized fashion. Morning meditation, self-talk rampages, and now I do my own self-talk rampages. Nighttime meditations, which I was doing a long time ago with Dylan James. Um, this, all of this is absolutely 100% life-changing, because I knew that, like, and I know the reason why sometimes I could hold the vibe and sometimes why I wouldn't is because I was hot and cold with myself. Being hot and cold with yourself, what does that really mean? It means like sometimes I loved myself and sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I had self-respect and sometimes I didn't. I got so tired of things leaving my life after I'd manifest them in. I'd be like, ah, I was there. I was there, Abraham Hicks, I remember this video or this podcast or something I was listening to where like I can hold a steady vibration, but I couldn't. I couldn't hold the steady vibe. It was there for a while and then I lose it. There for a while, then I lose it. Then I'm starting over again. I was so frustrated. So, a couple things. I think that, the nighttime meditations, nighttime sleep affirmations, affirming, believing in yourself, really, really dig deep. Do not be afraid to address and accept all of yourself and what's happening up here first. Acceptance, in my opinion, is the first step. And then you flip the script. And then you start to tell yourself the new story. And once you tell yourself the new story, that is the story you stick to. That is the story. That is your ride or die story. And you say, no, thank you. Oh, that happened. Okay. All right. I must, if something, in my opinion, if I end up with an undesirable circumstance, whether that's love, money, it doesn't matter, health, it doesn't matter what it's about. It is because, in my opinion, there's something within myself that's wavering. And it just leads me back to correct it. It just leads me back to, no, this is the new story and this is what it is. This is the new story. This is the law of assumption. What I assume to be true is going to be true in my reality. So what am I assuming? So it's a battle of the mind, and choosing. And also like listening to your heart, brain and heart coherence. Like really, like the more you focus on your heart center, the more magnetic you will be. When you're focused on your heart, like I have experienced some amazing things simply by focusing on my heart and living heart forward, living from my heart center. So anyway, that being said, I think Self-Concept Mastery Academy, I think, getting your ego on board with what you're trying to change so that your ego is like, yes, oh, okay, yeah, of course you're going to get everything that you want. Of course you get what you want because you're amazing, because you're worthy and deserving. Oh yeah, of course you get what you want. You're worthy and deserving of the life you're creating. You are, you love yourself completely, so of course things are going to flow to you so easily. Of course you're magnetic because you're worthy and deserving, because I already know my worth. I already know my value. I already know. So I do get what I want. Okay, no matter what, I know my worth and my value. So of course things are going to just flow to me very easily and effortlessly. We have to stop telling ourselves that the 3D is so difficult, ignoring circumstances, blah, blah, blah. Like, stop telling yourself the bullshit story. Get real with yourself. Decide what you want. And that's a new story. And pour into yourself. Because when you pour into yourself, when you pour so much love into yourself, the 3D has no other choice but to reflect that back to you. And I know because I've experienced it. And I think that was really the last piece of the puzzle for me. Has really been loving myself fiercely. Stepping into that version of myself fiercely. No, I am top tier. This is what I want. This is what I deserve. I love myself completely. I am whole and complete already as I am. I am enough just as I am. I don't need validation. I don't need approval. You can like me or hate me. You can like me or leave me. Whatever. It doesn't matter because I'm good with myself. I don't need your validation. I don't need your approval. I mean, I like it, but I don't need it. And when you operate from a place of fearlessly loving yourself, the world has no other choice but to reflect that back to you. And then you just stay there and you enjoy it. Love it. So that being said, I know this video helped you, and I'm gonna link. I'm gonna try to be. I think there's an affiliate link for Self Concept Mastery Academy, and I'm gonna link it below. I'm gonna see if I can. I do think Self Concept Mastery Academy is 100% worth it, even if you just do it for a couple of months. I do think it's worth it. I say that with all of my heart. During that time, I also manifested money. Like money just came to me. I did have a small like lotto win during that time. It was 5 grand. I mean, it was incredible. The work that I was doing on myself, I really felt like money was flowing to me. People were flowing to me. I feel like it really helped me to, if I feel like I didn't know what to say to myself on a daily basis. I didn't know what to say to myself. And most people don't realize that you have absolute control over what you say to yourself. You do. You can choose. Just like, so if somebody came up to you and started talking down to you and started to really say things that were super negative to you, like you don't deserve that, you can't do that, why would you do that? I don't think you're good enough. You know what? I don't think you'll ever be good enough. If somebody stepped into your life and started to say that to you, you'd be like, hell no. Like, who do you think you are? You don't know me. I stand up for myself. I know who I am. It's the same principle. So why would you accept it from yourself? It's because we're trained, or it's because of how we grew up. We're basically always trying to overcome what you grew up with, the years of neural pathways that have been, embedded. But you choose and you decide. You decide, like from your heart, and you tell your brain, no, this is how it is now. I'm loved, chosen, wanted, and adored. I already choose myself. I'm whole and complete just as I am. I don't need anyone's validation or approval. I know who I am. I know my worth. I know my value. I get what I want. I receive what I want. I am open and worthy to receive. I am love. I am trusting. I am perfection. I am everyone's first choice. I am my own first choice. I am my own first choice. There was something I was listening to, and it was like, name 3 people that are the most important to you. I can't remember where I heard this. And then the next thing was like, did you name yourself? Guess what? I didn't at the time. I didn't name myself. So, I've mentioned this in other videos. There is no shortage on Pinterest of like positive affirmations to feed yourself. I do it all the time, depending on how I want to feel, depending on how magnetic I want to feel and be. What kind of vibe do I want to embody for the day? I don't let it choose me. I choose it. I choose the vibe that I want to embody for the day. I choose the identity I want to be, no matter what the environment I'm in. I choose. And I step into that. So, do the self-concept work and watch everything that you've ever wanted just flow to you. Know you are being divinely guided. Get good with the fact that, like, in my opinion, like, it is the divine that flows through us. We are literally like heaven on earth. I am heaven on earth, and this is what flows through me. I'm going to talk a lot about that. I trust this video helped you. Get ready for the new year, 2026. It's going to be a beautiful year. And I wish you a very, very happy holiday season, no matter where you are in the world. I love you. I see you. Namaste.